So you have to just imagine that, what that is, and within minutes, the whole thing can go south and everything will blow up.
I play Emma Brunner. She is on the train to get this pump to a nuclear reactor, and the two of them have these magnet vests that were used in their therapy course that he brought along in case they had some free time, and they find them to be actually very useful in this train sequence.
I'm Luke Brunner, and I'm a CIA agent in Kazakhstan to capture a criminal, a terrorist. And one of the things that they want to do is siphon out some nuclear material from that train. If they get it, they can use that as a bomb and threaten the world, basically, or any big city. So it was very important that we go and stop them from doing that. And luckily, as Monica said, that we had those vests, those magnetic vests, that were kind of like enabled us to get stuck together, which means that when she crawls on top of that train on a roof, I can go and be underneath that roof, upside down, and crawl right along with her, because we are kind of glued together with that magnet.
I'm almost there! This thing is all over the place!
You have to wrestle it down, we're running out of track, fast!
Just be careful.
Dad, I can't reach it! You gotta let me go so I can leave for it!
No!
It's too big of a risk.
If I don't get this thing, we all die anyway!
I say no! When you do a scene like that that involves a lot of visual effects and special effects, it's a very tedious process, because you're shooting a lot of it against the blue screen or against green screen. You're doing it with a train that runs fast. You're doing it with a train that doesn't drive at all, that's just stationary in the studio. So you're using all kinds of different methods, and you have to kind of know exactly, storyboard it out and put the pieces together. So I was like literally hanging upside down on that train. And I was fastened there and held on, tightly. Then there were shots of me crawling around along when we did it also on the floor, tilting the camera upside down to make it look like I'm upside down, but in fact it was on the floor. So it is, and that has to be built, then the top of the roof has to be built on the bottom of the floor. So all of this stuff, it's like I said, very, very tedious work, but then when it is put together, it really looks real. And that's, the visual effects department, they're geniuses in doing that. The director has to really know all the different pieces. And for you as an actor, it's really challenging because you're kind of picking up in the middle of it. And I say, I just need a few frames right here of you looking up and she's screaming down at you. So you have to get back into that scene. You have to get back into the character. You have to imagine the intensity. Your daughter could, within a few seconds, die and fall off that rooftop. So you have to show that in your face and in your action. And the same is also the case, I think, with her, but she can speak for herself what it was like to be on top of that roof.
Well, it was pretty funny. It was on a blue screen, and they built this beautiful train, and I, filming other stuff a few days prior, would run over at lunch and practice with the harness, and we had the best stunt team on this show. I love them with my whole heart and would trust them with my life, which I did. And it was just about getting those specifics of like what the magnets would feel like when she hits the top of the train and how hard they are to drive. They're very powerful magnets in our story, and how difficult that is, and the intensity of the train and the wind. We practiced with the wind, and it was really just about, like he said, upping that intensity throughout every single time. Also, our lovely first AD was there with a microphone saying the other lines, because we didn't shoot it the same day. It was all shot separately. But lovely Patrick was actually very good at reading you, and all the Travis in the scene as well. So that was pretty funny. Him just on a microphone yelling at me in like full-blown wind, and just, yeah, like you said, like just doing that repeatedly to get the stakes, or to keep the stakes where they needed to be was a challenge, but it was very fun.
So you have to imagine that the train was going 150 miles an hour minimum, if not faster. There's no train right now in the United States that goes that fast. And so that's the speed, 150 miles an hour, that's the speed where she was crawling on top of that train. So you have to just imagine that, what that is, and within minutes, the whole thing can go south and everything will blow up. And then the train will eventually hit the train station and everything, nuclear waste, and everything will blow up. So this is the dilemma we were in. So it was very, very intense. And from an acting point of view, very, very important to keep that intensity the whole time, and not because you pick up a little piece here and a little piece there, not to let go of that.
When I was little, you used to toss me in the air and then catch me. You never missed. I trust you.
I missed once. You bounced off the ottoman, and your mother was really pissed off.
I don't want to be that guy, but tick-tock, Luke.
Dad, I did what Dr. Pepper said. I asked you for help. Now it is your turn. You have to listen to me. Please, just let me go.
Dr. Pfeffer? Yeah. He was pretty good. He was a great actor, fun guy to work with. I loved him. Great, great character to have in a TV series.
We're trying to save the world in a matter of minutes, and we still manage to get into a father-daughter spat, and we have to put that away as fast as possible to accomplish the mission.
When I, agreed to her wish to let her go, I realized that I had to drop around 8-9 feet upside down on the floor. So I was up on top of the roof, upside down, and then all of a sudden, when I switched off the magnet, I fell down and I really banged up my head. Okay, so that's what I learned very quickly, that when you give in to a daughter, it could be very,
Yeah.
it could be very painful at the same time.
I'm all about let me go, but I'm not thinking about the fact that you're gonna fall.
Exactly. That's right. But to her, she was more at risk because she could just be blown off now off the train. Right, so that was the dilemma that I went through. But then I realized very quickly that she was, overly ambitious to get to that hose. But when she then finally did get to the hose, that she was blown off, and she ended up sliding off the side of the train. And now I had to use that magnet vest again very quickly, turn it on, and put it against that wall as she slipped down, so she doesn't end up on the ground and get killed. So all of this stuff had to happen within seconds. So you go through all kinds of drama, but the only thing you think about is, this is my daughter, and hundreds of thousands of lives I'd risk. And we have to act now. There was no more debating, there was only action. So that's why it's called an action drama, action comedy, and all this, because it was action, action, action.
I got you, baby. I got you.